that there will be a certain leader in the nation.
Take over. I am president.
He will become president of Ghana. Now, did you hear what Trump said? The comment he made.
Christians,
he said, Christians, don't be fools.
We involve ourselves our politics. Say, peace. Now
you are living in peace, serving God peacefully.
Say, I'm sure you're a new king.
If you are not careful and a new king arises,
necessary new king on Christianity,
and that new king doesn't like Christianity,
you think you
can come walk here easily to worship Jesus easily?
That is sound as a prophet.
I am sounding like a prophet.
Meaning a days ahead of us.
I know the days ahead of us. And I am forewarning you.
Some give you presidential seats. And not presidencies, a man Crawford, believe Jesus.
That let us not give
all those positions. Mopese a comfort, any a suma who for be, and a man enchantment, and you also lead you on mine. Abra we Christians, all
right, so listen, I've been giving you a lot of videos, They be a memo of videos. Trada, memo of prophet for the. But then I can confidently tell you, say, wow, worship me Smart Africa Media. Me channel way say, Dr. Bawumia, or a threat to NDC. And I'm telling you today, I'm going to give you details. Why am I saying this? I'm going to tell you. Hi, Smart Africa Media. Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel. So like now, if you sign share from which event. I'm going to give you details upon details. I'm going to explain things to you to know why I'm telling you, said Dr. Bawumia is now a threat to NDC party. NDC for take account. Now, let's move on. Prophet Owusu Bempah bedin komobi. Na ne nkomo obedino. Was it 2013 thereabout? And now hunu ne yitirem say NPP leader no a modern bano. Ono de ne hu ni asem which is another dango go forward. But after another dango go forward, ipato or the mantle ebe man ne vice na ne vice no e de NPP be co opposition. Listen, I had a question. When you year 2013, with all due respect, me channel we no ba in near term, yes, but we do ask question because I need a pinch them. 2013 and also a cancer asem we and a mammy frame or parry effort and one the home come the woman dear or become witty. The atosu me no prophet Owusu Bempah say. Any say Christopher etina ho Emma abosomsomfo any ada a small makan and mind you say small wagan haya miensa. A small wagan hano a yam miensa. The pato omo contest no me nim de was sumbu but the minim de woye Muslim and the minim de woye Christian. And the prophet Owusu Bempah say, me yemma a suma enya Christosum and me take you over our Ghana. Pato, yes, from near miensa. A horse me ba. Humbly question I will ask. The third one, Prophet Owusu Bempah say, we a Christonia for which politics mo occupy the necessary positions. Our politics mo yam occupy all the positions. Our politics mo we a Christonia and no any problem. Yatias. But when me won komobidi after this video, and when him say had Smart Africa in near term, you can fact and we give you evidences near the day. But what that woman, yen share Prophet Owusu Bempah yen tell and then in common or would you know? It's about 30 minutes video from A to Z. What the nyabo trinity and common na obetin common was tin common wa papa ni bedinu yen timbra.
Micaiah prophet or can be in favor.
Because Micaiah the prophet said something which did not seem to favor Ahab.
2013.
Now in 2013,
I was them here.
Right here in church.
I think it's a video. No, one of these days. Now
the videos are available. It's even on the net.
And then catch them and say,
the Lord spoke to me and said,
or can the fool be Bawumia
that there will be a certain leader in the nation.
Take over. I am president.
He will become president of Ghana. And he is like a tree. It was the prophecy was presented in a metaphor. So he was like a tree.
Now,
this person who is the tree, there is no problem with him. But the one that comes after the tree, that when that tree has completed his assignment, it will be the desire of the tree that his deputy will be the next to take over power to lead Ghana. Now that is what God is not amused about. God is not happy about it. And so God will send that party into opposition.
Fruit. Now, in
the prophecy, I said that the tree itself has reposed confidence, so have the branches of the tree and the leaves on the branches and all the parts of the tree. They have all reposed confidence in that deputy who they wish to take over power, but God does not want that person. God does not want that person.
Political party MPP opposition.
And I said that if they bring that person to lead the party to struggle for power, God will drive the party into opposition. And the party I was talking about, I was emphatic. I said NPP.
2013 and a prophecy way back then.
Now it was 2013.
So for now we am a translator. I believe some will be kind.
And I believe that some of you have reminiscences of it.
Videos no.
The videos are available.
Mopa, one of these days, memo show actually.
If you want to play it one of these days for you. Now, after some years, they were going to choose a leader. Indeed, as the Lord spoke to the prophet, and the prophet told the people, during their primaries, the delegates selected that deputy of the
tree. YouTube, Facebook, and social media.
Now, some people. Some people found.
Social media.
Some people found that prophecy. I don't know where they had kept it, where they had preserved it, but all of a sudden that prophecy went viral.
And a chief of staff. Now, I
was in the house one day and I received a call from the chief of staff, the then chief of staff, Madam Frema Opare. And he said, your father has invited you to see him, which he was talking about the president then, His Excellency the former president.
Jubilee House.
So myself and Reverend Nanakwesi, we went to the Jubilee House. You see, I cannot disclose all things, but there is a point I am trying to make.
Prophet Victor Kusibuate chief of staff office.
So when I went there, Prophet Victor Kusibuate was there too, and so himself, myself, and C2, we went to the chief of staff.
And the chief of staff catch them so play video.
And then the chief of staff told them to play the video to me. You know I don't tell lies. Now I don't tell lies. Just that there are certain things I will not talk about if it can potentially cause some trouble. But as for this, it will not cause any trouble. Chief of staff at that time, so they played the video to me, and after I had seen the video, then the chief of staff, then Madam Frema Opare, asked me, Prophet of God, are you the one in the video? I said yes. And he asked, Prophet, why did you say this? Why did you give this prophecy?
And I'm saying, mommy, a old video, 2013, Satam, na president. And I
said to her that, oh, this is an old video. This video was recorded so many years before His Excellency, the president, then became president. So I did not even know this was going to happen, but I prophesied because God gave me the prophetic word. And she told me that we are not happy with you about this prophecy.
In fact, old video.
And he said to me, go and see the president.
But who says Satam now you're young? The oil translator no young.
I said, go and see the president and explain matters to him because he's also not happy. But well, it's true. The video is an old video. I've seen in that video that you were a younger man, and the man standing beside you translating what you were saying was also a very young man at that time.
And all catch them say.
And she said to me, that I should go and see the president because he has called for me.
President. So I
went to see the president. What transpired between myself and him, I will not talk about it.
The chief of staff catch him says, and so
the chief of staff said to me, before I leave the Jubilee House, she would like to see me again before I go finally.
Also for Penny Victor Kusibuate confirm me say, oh, a old video.
Even right there, Prophet Victor Kusibuate confirmed that indeed that video was an old video.
Chief of staff and
then the chief of staff said to me that tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, Monday early morning,
interviews.
I should grant interviews.
Prophesy.
And then I should prophesy.
Video
that video which had gone viral, God has reversed the prophecy in that video, and that this time God is bringing Dr. Bawumia as the president and the leader of Ghana. So I walked out. When I got home,
my prepare say me grant interviews na maka de ma me say menka.
I had prepared
because I say o papa say baby akokọ ba ta gina no ha na ne bagina na ne ba no enti o support ma me anto so support no.
No, but so I was getting ready to grant the interview, and because she has said to me that a fruit does not fall far away from the tree actually, and he supports Dr. Bawumia, so you must also support Dr. Bawumia.
May prepare.
Now I was getting ready. I was getting prepared.
I'm just going to make a software bear me witness.
Now software may be my witness.
And then
the Lord spoke to me and said, do not say anything, be quiet. So I did not grant any interview.
And only me problem.
That is where my problem arose.
That
is why Chairman Wuntumi said to me that they have alleged against you that you have given your support to Honorable Kwejo Alanchemantin, and they have spoken to you in secret, told you what you have to do, and you have not done it. So they have arrested you. They have arrested you, and the reason they've arrested you is not what they are saying, but the main reason is that you have not done what you are supposed to do, and they have said that they will put you in prison at Akuse. So that you will be disabled. You will be disabled. You will not be able to do any spiritual work for Honorable Alanchemantin because they know that you are a threat. And so the reason you have been arrested is what I am telling you, and not because of what is going around. That is what he said to me. Now nobody can show any video that I went somewhere, brought out a gun, and the person I went to also brought out a gun. It's not true.
Senkenye so to mu hene. Anka baby a yekọ yesi ene maame ne koshia kranka me menko.
Now the Sotom chief,
na ma so to mu hene ene ahemfo bi omo ba me.
I was giving honor.
Mo ya me witness. Me na net one call ne bae.
I was only showing honor and respect.
So be pa me chew.
I was only showing honor.
Yekọ for peace. Tina maame na aka so Owusu Bempah ba so obepe peace. Me ni peace bi a me dey ma no. Won say no de nkrofo nka. And I went to, but you have no come, I'm not coaching too, and I'm coaching too. Now, and almost said that you sue, but I want to me catching me Owusu Bempah say, and you know, Alan Cheremantina, woman who's also support a man, woman who's a woman pet Dr. Bawumia sem. But you baby, and no enemy how I'm a fair.
Right.
So much in Nanya me crown won't bet me because I'm a
now, I was only giving
order from above. Same family cost tracking force. Afi anajo, a prosi for mode a year church woman 8 ebe family call me pania kume. Nyame mami hui. Debi ame kansiman kofo fisa meboa. Ana me pe obi obe challenge. Na kian court na me improve.
Now,
omu yusu dampare. Omu hu sa afedie NDC for do omu hu agim ase MPP for no bi buafu. And no conclusion na say yen won pan yenku no yen won pan ye na yen finish no oh politics sa time no mini obia close ni pono oh sa de no enu nti se nyame na ba mu bi en na nyame no de me ye na me pena me de ye ya anka ba na me ntiase se nko nyame me yi ankyere me se Omukọ opani ekum ena nka man kanche sofana na kwasi mu ama omantena hospital hwa na dentina meda hospital bed so ne de handcuff abomensa etwa mensa me bleedi na ahwa so nyasa de drip asan ahye mensa ya mienu ya bɔ me drip adentina wonfa handcuff no kra mo hanfa mompem baby a omusa order from above baby a drip no esi no ehɔ no omude handcuff no bɔ no osa di twa me na me bleedi na me nsa ehɔ no na ukoka wo yo bi gina nkyɛn sɛ ɛna Owusu Bempah ɛna odi yaw ɛna ho anwan ɛyɛ nkwasi ade na omu yɛ no ɛyɛ nkwasi ade otumase entu fi sɛ satam no nanka me wo bi a ɔwɔ influence ɛwɔ aban no man ko betimi ayɛ saa ko mutumi ɛna na kufu ado so o ma twantro ato no so sɛ police for ba asɔre dem na me ma mo bu aprosi for no ama bi collapse ɛna ɔno so gidiye gampare so de proof no beba wantimi amfa proof bi ankwa ankoma na kufu ado besi ne no proof and I will deal with them adia me ya wo mo no okay also for translate
now like I said before. All right, can we have some silence then? Thank you. So like I said before, I was only giving honor to the chief of Sotom because he came to me and informed me that he wanted to broker peace between me and a certain woman, and so I went there in honor. Can we have some silence, please? Silence. Thank you. So he wanted to broker peace between me and so I went there in honor of what the chief wanted to do. And when I went there, well, it didn't happen because the woman said she was not going to she was not going to allow there to be peace. That is the subterfuge they used at the time I was arrested. In fact, the main reason I was arrested was what Chairman Moon to me said to me, that I had allegedly thrown my support to Honorable Kojo Alan Cheremanting, and so now at that time I had to do something about it and reverse my support for from Alan Cheremanting now for Dr. Bawumia. And so they used the IGP at the time, Dampare. They arrested me even when I was on the hospital bed. The same hand where they had inserted the line was the same hand they handcuffed me against the bed. but I had done nothing. I had done nothing wrong. It was because of politics. And this demonstrates the power politics has in the nations of our world. At that time, if I had someone who had influence in the corridors of power, do you think that they would have done to me what they did to me at that time? The answer is obvious. That is why I'm urging you. I'm urging you. You don't want to involve yourself. No. Don't say you are a born again believer, and so there are certain positions of power you don't want to get involved. Don't say that.
I remember say, openi bi yeso be stand there mami. Omo oda penini say some person be lose na juma. On stay away from Owusu.
At that time, somebody stood out to advocate for me. They said to the person, if you don't want to lose your businesses, stay away.
The entire make culture say politics, who you born again believer, involve yourself. Those days, Senkenye now sitting president. Urua John Dramani Mahama. Our dinner no bear movie. A man and Crawford, a Bowra movie. And you have no idea.
Now, in those days, had it not been the current president, who was the opposition leader at that time, who raised his voice, spoke about it, and his party and party communicators in opposition also spoke about it, you have no idea what they would have done to me.
Apart from protection,
apart from God's protection,
apart
from God's protection, now his people were the ones that protected me. At that time, Mr. Sami Jemfi and the lawyers of the president, President Mahama, who was the opposition leader at that time, they were the ones who were all over on radio speaking against what the government was doing.
Because why a president did that?
Because he's been president in Ghana, so he's got a voice.
To the moment Tomo says be too so for Bempah, mu MPP be hold you. Sami Jemfimo any brace or more kasa ho and I'm afema woman who said no baby I didn't do no.
So now when Mr. Sami Jemfi and other communicators of the opposition party at that time started speaking up against it, that if anything evil happens to Prophet Owusu Bempah, will hold MPP party responsible. That was when they started to put down their weapons. So don't let anyone tell you
evil. No,
that politics is evil. It is not. Because it is part of our human endeavors. If you say you are not concerned about politics, then someone who is concerned about it will choose a leader you don't want for you. Now, do you know at that time I had not met Mr. Alan Tremantin. I had seen him on television, but I had not seen him face to face.
Vice President Bawumia any MPP for Samia Uku, Mr. Fredo Waramo, Eddie Jatua, Echo, Bishop Ho.
And I always say that they should thank the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, because they had petitioned him. They had petitioned him, and when I went to meet them there, they rendered an apology to me. I considered God, and I considered the honor I have for the Archbishop, and I forgave them. Now let me tell you something. Now in Ghana, whether I like it or not,
2016
everyone knows that in 2016 God used Prophet Owusu Bempah to bring NPP to power.
Even politicians,
my voice was the loudest. My voice was the loudest, even more than some of the politicians themselves. And when it comes to prayer, I prayed more. I did more spiritual and prophetic work than any other person. Because when I see the direction of God and I see the one God has chosen, I go all out. I have no reservations.
Samuel oko all out.
Now Samuel went all out for Saul
until day Saul ye disobedient.
Until the day Saul disobeyed God.
Still,
not
Samuel impono pleadi for
Samuel was still pleading with God for Saul until God rebuked Samuel. And then Samuel kept quiet. As for you, you can tell me you are a born again believer. So at every time you want to be controlled. You want to be controlled.
The reason why I make us answer
now, the reason I am saying all this is that I want to encourage you to get involved in politics. Maybe you don't like it, but if you have what it takes for it,
politics, do it.
If you love politics, get involved. It is not evil.
Last week, na yankɔhwɛ a man penny ojina saw them and they told you no sa.
Wasn't it beautiful when you saw the video of the president of Ghana last week in church dancing with his wife, sitting in the midst of the congregation?
Only special seat.
There was no special seat designated for him in church. He was sitting amongst the congregation.
Cracky jokes be cranesre.
They were even cracking jokes.
They're asking,
why did they make the president sit in the midst of a congregation? And the leader answered and said, because he didn't turn up for rehearsal. And now it cracked them up. They were all in stitches. Now, wasn't it lovely? Were you not amused?
Fair gentleman.
That the first gentleman of the nation stood in church. He was clapping with the congregation, praying with the congregation, listening to the preaching. And what I'm happy about is that he also knows how to preach. Now, did you hear what Trump said? The comment he made.
Christians,
he said, Christians, don't be fools. Get involved in politics.
Now, you hear who say, oh,
we always appear sanctimonious.
Who told you?
Always abstaining from politics or political affairs. And if you are a politician, you are hell bound. You will go to hell. Who told you? When a righteous man rules, there is prosperity and peace. It's in the Bible.
Papa. Your fivefold ministries. Ephesians chapter 4.
Fivefold ministries in the book of Ephesians chapter 4. We've got the apostles. He said he has made some apostles,
prophets,
and he's made some prophets,
pastors,
he's made some pastors,
teachers,
he's made some teachers,
evangelists,
he has made some evangelists.
A New Testament and your Old Testament.
Now this is in the New Testament, not in the Old Testament.
It is still prophetic ministry.
So the prophetic ministry is still functioning and is relevant.
And prophetic ministries and
one of the functions of the prophetic ministry is to appoint leaders for nations.
Prophets with
God assigns prophets to governments and kingdoms.
President Tibia was a spiritual person.
Now every president has a spiritual person in his life. Now even those who don't believe in Jesus, they have spiritual men in their lives. So if that person does not believe Jesus, that spirit that backs that president or leader is the spirit that rules the nation through the leader.
Christianity.
And the spirit through the president will implement policies that will be disadvantageous for Christians. That is my worry. That is what I don't want to see or hear happening.
But president will believe in Jesus Christ.
But the president that believes in Jesus, the Spirit of God rules the nation through him. So the presence of God continually comes upon the nation, and it causes the nation to flourish.
Peace. Now
you are living in peace, serving God peacefully. If you are not careful and a new king arises, and that new king doesn't like Christianity, you think you can come walk here easily to worship Jesus easily. That is why I am telling you, let's be careful.
As a prophet,
I am sounding like a prophet.
Meaning a days ahead of us.
I know the days ahead of us, and I am forewarning you.
Presidential seats and not presidencies and man believe Jesus.
That let us not give
all those positions.
Let us not give
Christians
the presidential seats to people who do not believe in Jesus.
I know what I'm talking about. Until the next 10 years, or
in the next 10 years, we'll remember what Prophet Owusu Bempah is saying in tears.
Take you over.
Let us take over.
Christians, take you over.
Christians, let's occupy.
Occupy sensitive positions.
Let's occupy sensitive positions in government.
I'm telling you the truth.
They can't cry at you.
Yeah, you are president for now. Can be a what the Nyamia Sembe Tulufo.
Now, if they are appointing counselors for presidents and you are one of them, you will counsel the president with the word of God.
Osuro Nyame. Christian Osuro Nyame. I am in position in your mind.
A Christian who fears God, who occupies a position in the nation, he would walk the fear of God and talk the fear of God.
And the president to be the man of God,
so every president who surrounds himself with men of God, his term prospers.
I
am bringing the message to an end.
But I am
urging you, have it in your mind, as far as this earth is concerned, God has given us the power. And let us give the power to the one we want and not the choice of Satan.
And a binum say, I didn't know as a prophet prophesy. Actually, you obey winning election.
Some people say, why must prophets prophesy?
Where your problem
about the one God has chosen to lead the nation? How is that your problem? Should we allow the devil to choose rather than God? So you want people who believe in other things, spiritualists, fetish priests and all that, to chant and impose leaders on us while there are Christians in this nation. Now let me say this before I end my message. Now the Bible says something that we have not thought about deeply. The Bible says you are the salt of the earth. Listen, you are the salt of the earth. Salt gives taste.
Let us say Christians, good taste.
What it means is that we Christians give taste to the earth.
And the
presence of God visits the planet because of Christians, born again Christians. Now when salt loses its taste,
born again believer,
a believer who knows not his position, you have no control, you have no upper hand. You have no presence.
You are useless.
You are useless.
Bible said,
the Bible said that salt that have lost its taste will be poured out onto the ground, and men will trod on that salt under their feet.
So
don't lose your taste. I will not lose my taste.
We are praying.
Unto God. Lord, bless the nation through us. For our sake, bless Ghana. For our sake, pour down your blessing upon the nation. Whatever we bind on earth is bound in heaven. Whatever we lose on earth is loosed in heaven. As for me, I have bound it. It is bound.
So far as it can never happen.
That the son of the devil will not lead this nation so long as I am alive. You may doubt it, you may believe it. That's your choice.
The new king arises.
When a new king arises,
not only Joseph.
When that new king who does not know about the exploits of Joseph arises,
because woman fa Israel for no and share sensitive position,
because they failed to appoint
Joseph
Israelites into sensitive positions in the era where Joseph was the vice president. I am searching for a president in whose time
he would appoint Christians
into sensitive positions.
Speaker of Parliament Christian.
Speaker of Parliament Christian.
IGP Christian.
The IGP is a Christian.
Christian.
The CDS is a Christian.
Ministers Christians.
The ministers of states are Christians.
Christians.
Wherever you go, you will find Christian.
Because
Jesus is the King of all kings. All power of government belongs to him. And he is the ruler.
Church.
Church, let us not misuse the power God has given us. You must be fierce, strong and bold, and have it in your mind that you will make an impact in this nation, so that a new king will not arise and say, let no one go to church. Let no one pray. Let no prophet prophesy. That was the same thing they said. Let Daniel not pray. But Daniel prayed regardless. And he was cast into the den of lions. I will not wait until I'm cast into the den of lions. You will not even see the throne. Let alone make a law and cast me into the den of lions. I will not allow you to even come. Anyone who would lead this nation and would make a law or a policy against Christians, you will not see the light of day.
Antichrist, anti-God. No
antichrist.
It is impossible.
Any person who is anti-God
we shall see
will become president to lead the nation. It will not be possible. It will not happen. And we would all see it in Ghana. Some people think, we are just bragging. We are not bragging. We are not bragging. We demonstrate power. When we speak, it happens. If you don't fear God, if you don't fear God, you will not have a place on the seat. You must have a solid relationship with Jesus. Jesus is a king maker. He is the one that appoints kings and removes kings. All power belongs to Jesus. Associate yourself with Jesus. Live your life with Jesus. Go in search for a position. Seek a political position. Get zealous about it.
Involve yourself.
For who
so
that there will be no new king who would arise.
We are fighting for Christ
and make anti-Christ policies.
We are fighting for Christ.
We are
fighting for Christ.
Leadership. All forms of leadership belongs to Jesus. Amen.
2013, na afei na John Dramani Mahama Ghana for aba edi amano about 2012 so 2013 na afei na wowurem na Prophet Isaac Owusu Bempah say when yame dan edi kire no me ha ye nietem se de meka when yame dan edi kire no ema wo hunu se na nado dan gogufo do no wo ba no which is wo be standing akọ 20 or the saying 16 no wono ne hu ni asem ne hu eni asem. But let's get back kakra. Ebere bi Prophet Isaac Owusu Bempah in the video, one of the videos and what say ye nima kwanjira hodo a wo ye ma na nado dan kokufo ado ansa na nado eba power pato nipa no ne hu ni asem. Okay, we are kwanjira ma no ansa, and we all know say na nado dan kokufo ado call 3 times and so wakaso we are kwanjira ma no a me ndawte akwanjira. But I was say papa no wo ba no na ne hu ni asem na mom ne vice ana ne hu asem enti 2023 no sana nado ba, which is or the say 2013 is na nado ba 2016 a wo wie na se wo kwa wo de ne mantle no wo de be ma ne vice na ne vice no e de NPP amayoko no ebe co position tio, which is 2013 and a Prophet Isaac Owusu Bempah it is uhun sa yi tire we. But the question, my first question, me busan say papa with all due respect, my humble question is say okay nyame si na nado na eba ne vice no emwa so oba after na nado a emwa san komo yi wada wurumawu san komo yi why today and ye this san komo yi and I said Dr. Muhammad Bawumia no Prophet Owusu Bempah trasa nyankopon rejecting no since 2013 and yame rejected Dr. Muhammad Bawumia since 2013. But the papa no yame rejecting no wabeye vice president 8 years. Ono no de Ghana card ba you. But sa papa no de mobile bank ne ba ye. Enho de keka ho de nyankopon rejecting no. Okay, yet ase me de sunsum nsem and physicalities no me ya na me ka na physical me sunsum nsem minim ho. And a Prophet Isaac Owusu Bempah kire say Yera John Dramani Mahama na kuma panti 2024 election no onyankopon e de amano 2023 temi ngomani yo 2013 sorry Dr. Muhammad Bawumia was rejected by God. 2013 kronwa no aye bewura 2016 makoto aba no John Dramani Mahama moja e wone nsa ho enti de obeye mistake obeto obede ama John Dramani Mahama no ade besi Ghana ha no enti in that case no nyame reject Dr. Muhammad Bawumia or reject John Dramani Mahama. Okay, now 2024 openi na kuma penti Onyankopon assign edo my Ghana ashanensa adenti na Dr. Muhammad Bawumia de Onyankopon ntimi enyim fomso bi ye wone so emfemfiri ne so ebesi nne okay yan fight ne Christopher yan take over. But the question is even your queen this mukura no a kremofo wo me se me channel ye kasa with fact in the atem woni me nyadwene a adventure na tisa hwene wada woroma me kan trust free me channel so no ko me pa to me channel me hia nipa me hia viewers. Okay yan hwa de bi wa ha ye Christopher take over religion ye miensa ye wo Christianity ye wo Muslimifo and ye wa abosonsomfo eye 3 enye 1 in this country. It is approved ye nim say ye som no ye miensa. Okay kremofo ye Ghana ye we omon sori ntia Christo som da me hu bi da ebia na obi ehunu bi da me. But I mean Ghana in this country me hu say kremonia sori etie Christo som da omon chire ne se omon nji Christo ni anu nche so omon sori etie Christo som eno from tetenye ye bre so omon no omon nim se nkomhyeni Muhammad Ewo ho. Omo nim say Yesu Kristo wo ho. But omo nim say Kristo no enye ono ene ebefa no so. Anase nye ono ene agenkwa no. That is what they believe. But so be a kremoni wo ho won kire me kakra bia na my mistake. Apart from that, me want to say Christo, I say kremoni asori take Kristo sum Ghana. But the most of times Christianity sa sum no e wo ho no ayetimu sisi ano. Ye say Christ or say Muslims no. Ye pam wo e na omo nye na no me hu video bi a osofo bi tire say Christo Muslims no e na ombe ye say and ye di Christopher instead of say be preaching yankopon no ye di Muslim for and ye di omo preaching. This is different from prophet. Me make physicality. Because me who say Cremonia sorry take Christo neither. But every day Christo ni sorry take Cremoni in this country. Adentira omoni yesum ni nyepe. Eno ntira say nyame ba akono nyono ni yesum. Even they are aware say ye wo Nyankopon no yesum no. Enti omonim say true Muhammad omobekwa sa Nyankopon no Christofo yenso yesum na omekwa no ho. The same as abosonsomfo nim say ye wo Nyankopon ba akopɛ de hina yesum no. Enti bebi obi abefo be ba besom sa Nyankopon no ye tue muta amekro no. So now my question is, adenti na wo say Christofo nko a na edi wo man so e wa abra yesum no ye nananom tetefo ne ditum say ye miensa enya baako. It is a miensa na enya baako dia adan na baako pepese wo de kantam so na baako pe no woni mu nyansa na ye ne style ben wada worobo. Me humble question, baako pe no awaka no me pato se woni mu nyansa bia na baako pe no me pato me ndi atemo bia na baako pe no awaka no yentu mienu no nto nchen but baako pe no awaka no bia na ni nyansa wa amemwom no wo famu ampato eno nso ne be ne style ben eno no ho ne ye be ka ne sen wada woroma. Papa me de bia me kasa hom me possible na me de me nhwe mo bi nka nkyere me papa me nhwe me ye nka nkyere. But papa this time the last time me can say me say the last time me di nkomo bi I'm watching my words carefully. Say this time no akoye mockery papa nkomo no wo di sisi ani si papa wo be physical sisi ano politics. Because you are rather convincing the people to stand against asori anasuma enye Christosum. You are rather convincing the people. But papa sisi ano waba physical it is good so obey politics say they who king. But the one me who say enye prophecy eye afutuo na wode ma Ghana for I want me person yet say the papa ka sisi ano enye prophecy ya afutuo say ya nhwe yie na ye kotuma other religion bia ye bebre wa Ghana. Okay, de na ne nsa ho agu moja no ono Nyankopon timi ma ne baaye abaye mampani biem ema papa wo na wo kan ye o mra no na wo Nyankopon fa wo awoso ma wo beka kire ye se wo Nyankopon ede ne mfom so ache no wo hu no mabo na koma panti adana Dr. Muhammad Bawumia nko ade ebesi ne 2013 ebesi enne 2026 Nyankopon hu no mabo. There was some busum no wo be standing no pepato Nyankopon ohunu ni mabo ana. Okay na sesa na tie de na yesum ni han eni twaka enti han ne nko ankyere chomo nkyere ma han ne nko abonten enkobo mpa ye mfre sum ni se sum no mmra han. Chomo nko what you say? Because e bi kura no a de yehunu se wono won sum Kristo no wo ye Kristo ni first class e chen sa Kristofo no a ye from so mo ye Kristofo no with no fact, I say with no doubt. Okay, as someone a high any sum ni tracker, and the other in a high ne cosum ni fee, a quacatrensa mesround, a high sum entibraheim. And any need tracker and Yanka my sum and sumu, the high and tranihimo because the need tracker, and this year ma other religion, a bit dear so, but to be honest, other religion of a pomon be a jumo. And this is here, papa. The work is here no. Me person me tia say is it the prophecy and I say what about physical no one was remember a din komo. Because in common na me papa di no. My me tia say I still don't get it. Men kwam komo na men shada anti ase de nti e wo say papa odifo wa hye nkoma to wo wie wato wo nya medwuma so. But this is ano 38 minutes politics nkwa ena papa etu asore man for some form hu hye ayo and the politics dey say ne wo de hu hye mo aye. But I don't know prophecy. So in this case, papa, you are rather convincing the people to vote for Christian instead of other religion. Into your prophecy. Common in part what in common. Into when me per se asore manu papa moti me nuano me mame fo me nanano me papa fo no moti asore demon me per se moti asese pato when emedi matem me per se moti asese enkomo we na prophetize ko Owusu Bempah ti se yen sori ntia saa de na maye ma ade say Christosum no emma from emma other religion embefa oman no enya prophecy a campaign it's a total campaign because nyame say papa si akora o mayen hunu dia me de ne bawo but what shall say preach etia other religion we no e wakasa foforo mu a nke beka say eye cycle papa wo de etu o mutirim ebi so ano obi wo ho a ono nso no wa ware kremoni o ebi obi wa asore dem ho a wo ye Kristo ni beto ware kremoni ne kunu ehwe no ne kunu ye adwuma pa ma no ne kunu obo no ho ba ne kunu ehwe ne pa enti san komo we no so wote a abo ahwe obeka se wo sori tie ne som je ahwe obema na wo ye ne yere na wo ya asore ba wo be jai. We shouldn't stand against other religion because one yes and yes how by 3, 4, 5 years to come and to come see because papa we start here and one shan to come see and papa we a Christian we a defo we a nyame defo any side we fa so nan kasa de we kuraba pato and na men komo no awa because me dream you be ho a me ntiase de ntia esom ne miensa ne mum e wo se Kristo som nkwa na wo se take lead e wo my Ghana because adentira Kristo fo no mo na ebokro no mo na ekunkum nkrofo mo na ewia nkrofo de mo na ebo adwaman no se Kristo fo kro no a e na mo ye neoma en na me ka tro se kremoni ne ho tete Kristo ni a wonye ni ene yesum ya womi ye Kristo fu konkwansa ne nkwase de ne jimie ene ye de ti Kristo sum ne mu bet ya dia kantem ye ni ase be ko hwe kremoni bi na mo bom pa ye sen ko hwe kremoni o bom pa ye 5 times a day we shouldn't do this. This is a politics. Adawro masa me kasa ne bi anko yi a wadawro mafache me papa me de bia me ka me yeba eba etimi ne o papa di nkomo se de be ya obi emfira bonten embeka papa ne kira sembone ntimi no me to asem ve na we NPP ni ene zia we firi NPP mu because na o mo pe we kun ne atiatia papa se we firi ho na se bi anyankopon akire obi bia di obewi ni no a papa wo ka wi a me susu se enke no no ma de aka no enye nyamedwuma no a wo ye no but is na koda ne politics that woman 38 minutes full of we did your demand ko ba na kofi macro